Hawaii Virana, what does success mean to you? Not to your family, not to your friends, not to social media, not to the world that constantly tells you who you should be and what you should want. What does success truly mean to you? Most people spend their entire lives chasing a definition of success they never created. They follow a path that was handed to them. They pursue goals that were chosen for them. They climb ladders only to discover they were leaning against the wrong wall. They work tirelessly for approval, recognition, and validation, believing that when they finally achieve enough, earn enough, or become enough, they will feel fulfilled. Yet so many people reach those milestones and still feel empty inside. Why? Because achievement without alignment is one of the fastest roads to dissatisfaction. The world has a very loud voice. It tells you success is a certain income, a certain title, a certain house, a certain lifestyle. It tells you that if someone else has more than you, you are somehow behind. It creates endless comparisons and impossible standards. Every day, people wake up feeling inadequate, not because they are failing, but because they are measuring themselves against someone else's journey. The moment you stop comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. Success is personal. It is deeply personal. For one person, success might be building a thriving business that impacts millions of lives. For another, it might be raising a loving family and being fully present for every important moment. For someone else, it could mean having the freedom to travel the world, create art, serve a community, or simply wake up every day with peace of mind. There is no universal formula. The challenge is that many people never give themselves permission to define success on their own terms. They are so busy trying to meet expectations that they never stop to ask what truly matters to them. They become experts at pleasing everyone except themselves, but your life is not meant to be a copy of someone else's dream. Your life is meant to be an expression of your values, your vision, and your purpose. Take a moment and imagine a future where nobody could judge you. Imagine a future where nobody could criticize your choices. Imagine there were no expectations, no pressure, no comparisons. What would you pursue? What would you build? How would you spend your time? Who would you become? The answers to those questions reveal something powerful. They reveal the direction your heart has been trying to guide you all along. True success begins with clarity. If you do not define what success means to you, the world will define it for you. And once the world defines it, you will spend years chasing goals that may never bring fulfillment. Clarity creates focus. Focus creates action. Action creates results. When you know exactly what matters most, decision-making becomes easier. Distractions lose their power. The opinions of others lose their grip. You become less concerned with proving yourself and more committed to improving yourself. There is incredible freedom in knowing who you are and what you stand for. The most fulfilled people are not necessarily the richest, the most famous, or the most admired. They are the people whose lives reflect their deepest values. Their external world matches their internal truth. They know what matters, and they organize their lives around those priorities. Success without health is failure. Success without meaningful relationships is failure. Success without purpose is failure. Success without joy is failure. You cannot separate achievement from fulfillment. The ultimate goal is not merely to accomplish more. The ultimate goal is to experience a rich, meaningful, and rewarding life. That requires courage. It takes courage to choose your own path when everyone expects something different. It takes courage to pursue what matters to you instead of what impresses others. It takes courage to walk away from opportunities that do not align with your vision. It takes courage to trust yourself. But every extraordinary life begins with that decision, the decision to stop living by default and start living by design, the decision to stop asking for permission and start taking responsibility, the decision to stop chasing someone else's definition of success and start creating your own. Your future is not determined by the expectations placed upon you. It is determined by the standards you set for yourself. The quality of your life rises when the quality of your decisions rises, and the quality of your decisions depends on the clarity of your values. Know what matters. Protect what matters. Build your life around what matters. When your goals reflect your authentic values, motivation becomes natural. Discipline becomes easier. Obstacles become challenges rather than excuses. Every step forward feels meaningful because it is connected to something larger than external approval. You do not need everyone to understand your vision. You do not need everyone to agree with your goals. You do not need everyone to validate your choices. You only need the courage to stay true to what you know is right for your life. The most powerful question you can ask yourself is not, how can I be more successful? The most powerful question is, what does a successful life look like to me? Answer that question honestly, then build your days around that answer, because your life is too valuable to spend chasing a destination that was never yours to begin with. From the moment we enter the world, We are surrounded by definitions of what success is supposed to look like. We hear it from family members, teachers, friends, advertisements, social media, and society itself. We are shown images of people with expensive cars, large houses, prestigious careers, and massive followings, and we are told directly or indirectly that this is what winning looks like. Over time, many people begin to accept these ideas without ever questioning them. They spend years chasing goals that were handed to them instead of goals that truly reflect who they are. The problem is not that these achievements are bad. There is nothing wrong with building wealth, achieving recognition, or reaching the top of a profession. The problem begins when those goals become your destination simply because someone else decided they should be. Too many people wake up every morning running a race they never consciously chose to enter. They work harder and harder, believing happiness is waiting at the next milestone, only to discover that fulfillment remains just out of reach. Think about how much energy people spend comparing themselves to others. Someone gets a promotion, and suddenly you feel behind. Someone buys a bigger home, and suddenly what you have no longer seems enough. Someone gains attention online, and suddenly your accomplishments feel smaller. This endless cycle of comparison creates a moving target. No matter how much progress you make, there is always someone with more. There is always another level to reach, another standard to meet, another expectation to satisfy. When your definition of success comes from outside of you, your sense of worth becomes dependent on circumstances you cannot fully control. You begin living for approval instead of purpose. You become focused on impressing people rather than becoming the person you truly want to be. That is a dangerous place to live because approval is temporary. Trends change, opinions change, expectations change. If your identity is built on meeting those expectations, you will constantly feel pressure to prove yourself. Real freedom begins when you start questioning the beliefs you have accepted about success. Ask yourself where those beliefs came from. Did they come from your own experiences and values, or were they inherited from people around you? Are you pursuing your goals because they genuinely excite and inspire you, or because they make you look successful in the eyes of others? The moment you begin asking these questions, something powerful happens. You start separating your own voice from the noise of the world. You begin recognizing that success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. What fulfills one person may leave another feeling empty. What brings joy to one individual may create stress for someone else. There is no universal blueprint that guarantees happiness. Breaking free from society's definition of success requires courage because it means thinking independently. It means refusing to let other people's expectations determine the direction of your life. It means understanding that your value as a human being is not measured by titles, possessions, or comparisons. Your value comes from who you are, what you stand for, and the impact you make through the way you live. When you stop allowing society to define your success, you create space to discover a version of success that is authentic, meaningful, and uniquely your own. Once you stop allowing society to define success for you, a new challenge appears, discovering what success truly means to you. This is where many people struggle because they have spent so much of their lives following expectations that they have never taken the time to explore their own desires, values, and dreams. They know what they are supposed to want, but they are not always sure what they genuinely want. Success becomes meaningful only when it is connected to something deeply personal. It is not about copying someone else's lifestyle or achievements. It is about creating a life that reflects your unique vision. That vision begins with self-awareness. You must be willing to look inward and ask questions that many people avoid. What makes you feel alive? What kind of experiences bring you the greatest sense of fulfillment? What activities cause you to lose track of time because you enjoy them so much? What impact do you want to make during your lifetime? These questions may seem simple, but their answers have the power to transform the direction of your life. When you understand what truly matters to you, your goals begin to change. Instead of pursuing things simply because they are popular or admired, you start pursuing things that align with your values. Your motivation becomes stronger because it comes from within rather than from external pressure. Many people assume success is about reaching a destination. They believe that once they achieve a certain goal, they will finally feel complete. But success is not just about outcomes. It is also about the way you live each day. If your daily life is filled with stress, frustration, and activities that drain your energy, no future achievement will magically create fulfillment. True success must exist not only in the future, but also in the present. Imagine someone who earns a large income, but sacrifices every meaningful relationship along the way. Imagine someone who gains recognition, but loses their peace of mind. Imagine someone who achieves everything society praises, but wakes up every morning feeling disconnected from their purpose. From the outside, these individuals may appear successful. On the inside, they may feel lost. That is why defining success for yourself requires honesty. You must be honest about what matters most to you, even if it differs from what others expect. Maybe success means having the freedom to spend more time with your family. Maybe it means building a business that serves others. Maybe it means pursuing creativity, helping your community, traveling the world, or achieving personal growth. Whatever it is, it should reflect your values rather than someone else's standards. There will always be people who question your choices. Some may not understand your vision because they see life through their own definitions of success. That is perfectly normal. You are not responsible for living according to their expectations. You are responsible for creating a life that feels meaningful to you. When you discover what success truly means for your life, you gain something incredibly valuable: direction. Decisions become easier because you have a clear compass guiding your actions. Distractions lose their appeal because they no longer align with your purpose. You stop chasing every opportunity and start focusing on the opportunities that move you closer to the life you genuinely want. The greatest reward of defining success on your own terms is not simply achieving more. It is waking up each day knowing that your efforts are connected to something that matters deeply to you, something that reflects who you are and who you are becoming. One of the greatest forces that shapes the quality of your life is clarity. Without clarity, even the most talented and hardworking people can find themselves moving in circles. They stay busy, they stay active, they put in effort every day, yet they often feel frustrated because they are not making meaningful progress. The reason is simple: activity without direction does not create fulfillment. You can climb a ladder with incredible determination, but if that ladder is leaning against the wrong wall, all your effort takes you farther away from the life you truly want. Clarity begins with understanding your personal values. Values are the principles that matter most to you. They are the standards that guide your decisions, shape your priorities, and influence the way you live. Whether you realize it or not, every major decision you make is connected to your values. When your actions align with those values, you feel fulfilled, energized, and confident. When your actions conflict with them, you often feel stress, frustration, and dissatisfaction. The challenge is that many people have never clearly identified their values. They know what they dislike, but they struggle to define what truly matters to them. As a result, they allow circumstances, trends, and the opinions of others to determine their direction. They react to life instead of intentionally creating it. This lack of clarity often leads to confusion because every opportunity looks important, every distraction feels urgent, and every setback seems overwhelming. When you become clear about your values, everything begins to change. You develop a filter through which you can evaluate decisions. Instead of asking, what will impress people, you begin asking, does this align with what matters most to me? Instead of chasing every opportunity, you focus your energy on opportunities that support your vision. This focus creates momentum because your actions become intentional rather than random. Think about the people who seem confident and decisive. It is not that they never experience fear or uncertainty. The difference is that they know what they stand for, they know what they value, because they have that clarity. They can move forward even when circumstances are difficult. Their confidence comes not from having all the answers, but from knowing the direction they want to go. Personal values also help you navigate challenges. Life will test you. There will be moments when things do not go according to plan. There will be disappointments, failures, and unexpected obstacles. During those moments, clarity becomes your anchor. It reminds you why you started. It helps you stay committed when motivation fades. It gives meaning to your struggles because you understand the bigger purpose behind your efforts. Many people spend years searching for happiness in external achievements while ignoring the importance of alignment. They assume fulfillment comes from getting more, earning more, or achieving more. But fulfillment often comes from living in harmony with your deepest values. A person who knows what matters most and structures their life around those priorities experiences a level of satisfaction that cannot be purchased or borrowed from someone else's success. The clearer you become about your values, the stronger your decisions become. The stronger your decisions become, the more consistent your actions become. And when your actions consistently reflect your authentic values, you create a life that feels meaningful, purposeful, and true to who you really are. Clarity is not just about knowing where you are going. It is about understanding why the journey matters in the first place. For many people, success has been reduced to numbers. A certain amount of money in the bank account, a specific job title, a larger house, a luxury car, or a higher position on the social ladder. Society often teaches us to measure our worth through visible achievements because they are easy to compare and easy to display. Yet if success could truly be measured by money and status alone, then every wealthy or famous person would be deeply fulfilled and every person with modest means would be unhappy. Reality tells a very different story. Some of the most successful looking people in the world struggle with stress, loneliness, anxiety, and a lack of purpose. At the same time, there are people with far fewer material possessions who wake up every day with gratitude, peace, and a deep sense of fulfillment. This contrast reveals an important truth. Success is far bigger than what can be seen from the outside. Money is important. It provides opportunities, security, and freedom. There is nothing wrong with wanting financial success. In fact, creating financial stability can be a valuable goal. The problem arises when money becomes the only measurement of a meaningful life. When financial achievement becomes the sole focus, people often sacrifice the very things that give life richness and significance. They may neglect their health, damage their relationships, ignore their passions, and lose touch with their purpose. Imagine someone who spends years building a fortune but has no time to enjoy it. Imagine someone who works tirelessly for recognition but feels disconnected from the people they love. Imagine someone who achieves impressive milestones yet constantly feels empty because every achievement simply leads to another target. This endless pursuit creates a cycle where satisfaction is always delayed, the finish line keeps moving, and fulfillment remains just beyond reach. True success includes dimensions that cannot always be measured. It includes the quality of your relationships. It includes your physical and emotional well-being. It includes your sense of purpose and contribution. It includes your ability to enjoy the present moment rather than constantly chasing the next accomplishment. These elements may not always attract attention from others, but they often determine the actual quality of your life. Think about the moments that matter most. Rarely are they connected to material possessions. They are often moments of connection, growth, love, achievement, gratitude, and meaning. They are the experiences that make you feel fully alive. They are the memories that stay with you long after trophies have gathered dust and numbers have changed. Success should not be measured solely by what you accumulate. It should also be measured by who you become in the process. The character you build, the resilience you develop, the kindness you show, and the lives you impact are all part of a meaningful definition of success. These qualities create a legacy that extends far beyond financial achievements. When you expand your definition of success, something remarkable happens. You stop placing your entire sense of worth on external results. You begin appreciating progress in all areas of life. You recognize that a healthy body, a peaceful mind, strong relationships, personal growth, and a sense of purpose are not secondary achievements. They are essential components of a truly successful life. The goal is not to reject ambition or financial success. The goal is to place them in their proper context. Wealth can enhance life, but it cannot replace meaning. Status can attract attention, but it cannot create fulfillment. Lasting success comes when your achievements support a life that is rich not only in possessions, but also in purpose, connection, growth, and genuine happiness. Living life on your own terms sounds inspiring when you hear it, but in reality, it requires tremendous courage. It is much easier to follow the crowd. It is much easier to do what everyone else expects. When you follow a path that has already been approved by society, you avoid criticism, questions, and doubt from others. But there is a hidden cost to that comfort. The cost is your authenticity. The cost is the opportunity to become the person you were truly meant to be. Every person faces moments when they must choose between fitting in and being true to themselves. These moments may not seem dramatic at first. They appear in everyday decisions. Do you pursue a career because it excites you or because it impresses others? Do you spend your time on activities that align with your values or on things that gain approval? Do you make decisions based on your vision for your life or based on the fear of what others might think? Fear is one of the biggest barriers to living on your own terms. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of uncertainty. These fears keep countless people trapped in lives they do not truly want. They convince themselves that one day they will pursue their dreams, one day they will make a change, one day they will become the person they aspire to be. But days become months, months become years, and years become decades. Eventually, many people realize they have spent most of their lives living according to someone else's expectations. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action despite fear. Courage is moving forward even when there are no guarantees. Courage is trusting yourself enough to take ownership of your future. Every great achievement, every meaningful transformation, and every extraordinary life begins with a courageous decision. A decision to stop waiting for permission. A decision to stop seeking validation. A decision to take responsibility for creating the life you want. The truth is that not everyone will understand your vision. Some people may question your choices because they cannot see what you see. Others may criticize you because your willingness to follow your own path reminds them of risks they were unwilling to take. Their opinions are often reflections of their own fears and limitations, not your potential. If you allow every opinion to influence your direction, you will constantly change course. You will become like a ship without a destination, drifting wherever external pressures push you. But when you are clear about your values and committed to your purpose, you gain the strength to stay focused even when others disagree. Living on your own terms also requires accepting responsibility. You cannot blame circumstances, other people, or past experiences for the future you create. Personal freedom and personal responsibility always go together. The moment you take ownership of your choices, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for life to happen to you and start making life happen through your actions. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when things do not work out as planned. There will be times when doubt creeps into your mind, but every challenge you overcome strengthens your confidence because it proves that you are capable of handling more than you once believed. Confidence is not built by avoiding difficulties. It is built by facing them and continuing forward. The people who create extraordinary lives are not necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are often the ones who had the courage to trust themselves when others doubted them, the courage to keep going when the path was uncertain, and the courage to remain authentic in a world that constantly encourages conformity. Their greatest achievement is not simply what they accomplish. It is that they become the authors of their own story instead of allowing someone else to write it for them. As you move forward from this moment, remember that success is not something the world gets to define for you. It is not determined by comparisons, expectations, titles, or possessions. It is determined by the life you choose to create and the values you choose to honor every single day. There will always be voices telling you what you should do, who you should become, and how you should measure your worth. But the most important voice you will ever listen to is your own. The moment you become clear about what truly matters to you, everything begins to change. Your decisions become stronger. Your focus becomes sharper. Your confidence becomes deeper because it is no longer built on the approval of others, but on the certainty of your own purpose. Do not waste your life chasing someone else's dream. Do not spend your years trying to fit into a definition of success that was never designed for you. Instead, have the courage to create a vision that reflects who you are, what you value, and the impact you want to make in this world. Success is waking up with purpose. Success is growing into the best version of yourself. Success is staying true to your values when it would be easier to compromise them. Success is building meaningful relationships, protecting your health, pursuing your passions, and making progress toward a life that genuinely fulfills you. The future belongs to those who are willing to think for themselves, trust themselves, and take responsibility for their own path. Every great life begins with a decision, and that decision is available to you right now. Decide that you will no longer measure yourself by someone else's standards. Decide that you will define success on your own terms. Decide that you will live with intention, courage, and purpose, because at the end of your life,